separately with Russia's defense and foreign ministers today. All this as Russian forces are massed at Ukraine's border, and the Biden administration is once again saying an attack is imminent. ABC's Ian Pannell is in Lviv, Ukraine.
The administration clearly feel that it is now increasingly likely that this is happening, to the point where they issued this very rare warning to tell all U.S. citizens to leave immediately, within 24 to 48 hours, and other countries also issuing the same dire warnings, telling people to get out.
Some airlines have now canceled flights to the region. An American Airlines flight from Los Angeles to D.C. had to make an emergency landing in Kansas City Sunday after an unruly passenger tried to open a plane door mid-flight.
Yeah, he's trying to get out of the cockpit for American 1775.
The audio from liveatc.net. Several passengers aboard American Flight 1775 helped subdue the passenger after a flight attendant reportedly hit him with a coffee pot. Trucks and protesters cleared and traffic moving again across the Ambassador Bridge. ABC's Mona Kosarabdi.
Police allowing traffic between Ontario and Detroit to flow again after a nearly week-long protest against COVID restrictions. But protests still raging in other cities. In Ottawa, the so-called Freedom Convoy has now agreed to limit demonstrations to streets around government buildings after taking over residential areas earlier this month. Police say thousands of protesters became aggressive this weekend.
It's estimated the bridge closure cost factory workers $51 million in wages. The LA Rams rallied for a 23-20 victory over the Cincinnati Bengals in Super Bowl 56, Rams' first title since 1999. You're listening to ABC News.
Let's see, if something costs less, but people are happier with it, that sounds like something to look into, and that's Medishare. Maybe you've heard switching to Medishare to pay for health care can save the typical family $500 a month. And that's huge, but it's also true that people are way more satisfied after making the switch, too. The customer satisfaction rate for Medishare is double that of the typical health insurance plan. Double. Medishare works. It's been around for more than a quarter century, and members have shared more than $3 billion of each other's bills. People love having telehealth and a huge nationwide PPO network. So, yeah, you can save a ton and like it better. Imagine being happy with how you're taking care of your health care. So if you're self-employed or part of the gig economy, or you just want a plan you're happy with, you can call right now and get a price within 2 minutes. A very, very smart use of 2 minutes. Here's the number you need. 877-26-BIBLE. That's 877-26-BIBLE. 877-26-BIBLE.
Opening statements are expected today in the federal hate crimes trial of 3 white men convicted in state court of killing a black jogger, Ahmaud Arbery. All 3 have already been sentenced to life in prison after their conviction. Meanwhile, federal prosecutors expected to rest their case today in the trial of the 3 former Minneapolis cops charged with violating the civil rights of George Floyd. They were the officers on the scene when Floyd was killed by a fellow officer who put his knee on Floyd's neck. Hollywood today saying goodbye to a writer, producer, and director who helped make us laugh for decades. ABC's Jason Nathanson.
Ivan Reitman produced and directed over 70 movies, many comedy classics, but perhaps the biggest. Who you gonna call? He directed Ghostbusters in 1984, helping to write the script. He also directed the Arnold Schwarzenegger comedies Twins and Kindergarten Cop, the beloved Kevin Kline presidential comedy Dave, and as a producer, his name is on everything from Animal House to Private Parts, Old School, and 6-time Oscar nominee Up in the Air, written and directed by his son, Jason, who just made the Ghostbusters sequel, where Ivan was on set almost every day. He had at least 8 projects in the works. His family says Ivan Reitman died in his sleep Saturday. He was 75. Jason Nathanson, ABC News, Hollywood.
And once more to the Super Bowl and a double win for Rams wide receiver Van Jefferson. His wife went into labor during the game, and afterward he rushed out to meet his new baby. Jefferson and his wife are already parents of a 5-year-old daughter. This is ABC News.
What's all the buzz about nasal irrigation and navage? Here's the science. Airborne germs invade through your nose. When your nose gets clogged, it's less effective and germs multiply. Eventually, your immune system can get overwhelmed and you get sick. Navage pulls out the bad stuff so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. At Walgreens, CVS, Rite Aid, Target, Bed Bath, and Walmart. Or go to Navage.com for a free gift with purchase. Navage, N-A-V-A-G-E.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
The reasons more and more people are coming to NC Tractor to do business are the selection of Massey Ferguson tractors, Bobcat zero-turn mowers, fantastic customer service, and the special Phil Sheehan seasonal discounts. NC Tractor on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford is making dreams come true for folks who want the risk.
We're tracking a few areas of fog and frosty conditions to start, as we do have temperatures below freezing. As we head into the afternoon, we're going to see those temperatures stay on the cool side, only making it into the lower 40s and the mid-50s for today with a lot of sunshine. By tonight, we'll fall into the mid-20s, and then tomorrow, mostly sunny, a little bit milder, highs in the low to upper 50s. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
Well, the wind will be a factor today. Wind gusting up to about 16 miles per hour. Right now we're 33 degrees. A beautiful day in the neighborhood. Almost a full moon out there, but it'll be making its full plateau maybe by tomorrow night. But we got sunny skies throughout the week and rain coming back in here on Wednesday night. Now I have these death announcements. Margaret Sadie Cook Brackett, 85, of Golden Valley, died Friday, February the 11th. The funeral will be conducted at 2 o'clock Tuesday, February the 15th, at First Broad Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The visitation will be from 4:30 until 7:30 tonight at Washburn and Dorsey Funeral Home. Washburn and Dorsey Funeral and Cremation Service, serving the family of Margaret Sadie Cook Brackett. Victor Vic Whiteside, age 61, of Ledbetter Road, Spindale, died Sunday, February 6th, by hit-and-run accident. Arrangements will be announced later by Pruitt Funeral Home. Pruitt Funeral Home serving the family of Vic Whiteside. Pauline Green Lowry, age 85, of Caroline, passed away Thursday at Laurel Woods Assisted Living in Columbus. Funeral arrangements are pending and will be announced by Harrelson Funeral Home at a later date. For Pauline Green Lowry. John R. Bridges, age 81, died Wednesday, February the 9th, at Adrium Health Cleveland in Shelby. Those arrangements incomplete and will be announced by the Paget and King Mortuary and Crematory for John R. Bridges. Samantha Ruth King, 32, of Spartanburg, passed away Wednesday at her home after a brief illness. Funeral services will be held 2 p.m. today at Fellowship Baptist Church. Burial will follow in the church cemetery. The family received friends yesterday at Crow's Mortuary for Samantha Ruth King. Gail Bailey, age 70, of Forest City, passed away Tuesday, February the 1st. A memorial service will be conducted at 3 o'clock today at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home for Gail Bailey. Stanley Allen Lancaster, 64, died February the 8th at Adrium Health in Charlotte. Services will be held today at Victory Baptist Church in Ellenborough. Family will receive friends 1 hour prior to the service, and burial will follow at Rutherford County Cemetery with full military honors accorded by the Rutherford County Honor Guard. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with arrangements for Stanley Allen Lancaster. Reverend John R. Pete Bridges, age 81, of Forest City, died Wednesday, February the 9th, at Adrium Health Cleveland. The funeral service will be held 2 o'clock today at Wilson Baptist Church. The family will receive friends from 1 until 2 prior to the service in the sanctuary. The Paget and King Mortuary is in charge of the arrangements for Reverend John R. Pete Bridges. Michelle Walker Pettit, age 51, of Forest City, passed away Tuesday, February the 8th, at Pardee Hospital in Hendersonville. The funeral service will be conducted at 2 o'clock Tuesday, February the 15th, at the Harrelson Funeral Chapel. Burial will follow in Eternal Hills Memorial Park. The family will receive friends 1 hour prior to service time at the funeral home. Harrelson Funeral and Cremation Services entrusted with the arrangements for Michelle Walker Pettit. Those are the death announcements we have in-house this morning. For the complete information on these and others, as they become available to us, be sure to tune in this morning at 11:35. And then again at 5:10, as part of the afternoon report, we'll have the complete information available on these and others as they become available to us. Now stand by. The Bill O'Reilly Morning Update is coming up. He chronicles of the Old West, and we'll get to our phone calls and find out what's been happening around the county here on WCAB Rutherfordton.
O'Reilly here, and I'm warming up from the NRIA.net studios in New York. Stand by for the O'Reilly Update Morning Edition. Investors, Bill O'Reilly here. Are you sitting on capital or wanting to diversify? The NRIA Real Estate Development Fund provides returns right now. They capitalize on strategic markets. They offer payouts of 10% annualized returns plus bonuses up to 21%. Start your due diligence at nria.net or call 800-800-1414. That's easy. 800-800-1414.
An offer of securities is only made by the NRIA Private Placement Memorandum. Read it first. Past performance does not guarantee future results. NRIA is a real estate development firm. Learn more at nria.net.
On this Monday, it is Valentine's Day, and I am the wrong guy to be commenting on this day of romance. That is because Irish guys, generally speaking, I know there are exceptions, maybe Pierce Brosnan, Irish guys are not really romantic. It might have something to do with our ancestors tilling the soil or spending too much time in pubs. I don't know. But I know a lot of Irish guys, and I don't know any of them who are romantic. Italian guys all day long. Spanish guys, very, very romantic. Not Irish guys. Now, St. Valentine was a martyr, and he was, by all historical accounts, a good guy. And he spread a lot of love around. Not in the physical way. He was a cleric. But St. Valentine, was honored. And this day is a day of love, like the love boat or something like that. So I always try to bring some humor to Valentine's Day. Funny card. Flowers are great. Candy, not so much. Many ladies don't like the sugar, and they don't want to be zoftig, if you know what I mean. But I think the main message on Valentine's Day is just to be nice. Can we just be nice on Valentine's Day? Not just to the opposite sex, but to everybody. Kind of like Christmas. Now this. AMAC is the leading conservative advocacy and benefits organization. AMAC gives you access to exclusive benefits, insightful news, and a magazine full of uncensored content. They are pushing back against efforts to defund the police, weaken the borders, and corrupt our youth. But they need your help. Please stand with AMAC at amac.us. That's amac.us. That is the Morning O'Reilly Update. More analysis later on.
Good morning, everybody. Time to get up and greet the world with a smile. And remember, whenever you're feeling down and need a word of encouragement, there will always be someone there to make you feel even worse. Have a nice day.
A lot of stations can play great music, but it's what we do between the music that sets us apart. Serving the foothills of the Carolinas, we're family-friendly radio, WCAB.
In 1874, Samuel Clemens married Dallas Stoudemire's sister. Settling down in El Paso, Texas, his wife's hometown, Samuel opened a restaurant. In 1881, Dallas Stoudemire became a marshal of El Paso, Texas. Stoudemire was a no-nonsense law officer, and the local gunslingers didn't like him, particularly the Manning brothers, who just happened to operate a ranch that was a haven for outlaws. In April of 1881, Cummings and Stoudemire were riding through El Paso when someone shot at Stoudemire. He missed. Cummings and Stoudemire pulled their pistols and didn't miss. They were convinced that the assassin was hired by the Manning brothers. Over the next several months, tensions began growing between the Mannings and Stoudemire. On February 14, 1882, Cummings entered the Coliseum Variety Theater, ran by James, one of the Manning brothers. Cummings started harassing James Manning and bartender Dave Kling. Finally, Cummings, Manning, and Kling all pulled their guns at the same time. Manning and Kling's bullets hit Cummings. Cummings' bullet hit the ceiling. There was a couple of interesting things about this story. First, Had it not been for Stoudemire being Samuel Cummings' brother-in-law, Cummings would never have been involved with the whole situation. The second is that 7 months later, James Manning shot and killed brother-in-law Dallas Stoudemire. Actually, there was a third. James Manning was found innocent in both killings. You've just heard another story from Old West Radio. I'm Dakota Livesay.
Jesse James Railroad Express has added 2 new sandwiches to their menu. Try the all-new crispy chicken sandwich with lettuce, tomato, and mayonnaise, or the crispy deluxe with lettuce, tomato, mayonnaise, bacon, and cheese. And now, the new beer-battered fish sandwich. All come with sides. Enjoy a refreshing milkshake or a hand-dipped ice cream cone. Open Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. until 4 p.m. Closed Wednesday and Sunday. Jesse James Railroad Express, 531 Railroad Avenue in Rutherford. Call 828-447-4644. Mondays only, hot dog with mustard, chili, and onions for only $1.24 each. All aboard the Jesse James Railroad Express.
Now at 7:16, let's get an update on what's been happening over the weekend. Get updated on that from the Sheriff's Department. And Deputy Mcloone is with us this morning to tell us all about it. Good morning. How are you doing today?
Good morning. I'm doing good. How are you?
Doing well, thank you. Tell us what's been going on over the weekend.
Okay. Well, in the last 24 hours, we've had 96 calls for service. We have 164 incarcerated in the jail and a total of 17 arrests. As far as incident reports go, we have theft from a motor vehicle reported by Paula Williams of Troutman, North Carolina. We had a damage to property reported by Maria Sanchez from Forest City. We had a breaking, entering, and a larceny reported by a Daryl Dwayne Crawford of Lake Lure. We had a felony larceny of a motor vehicle reported by Jacob Gardner of Rutherfordton. We had larceny of a firearm reported by a John Cosby from Ellenborough. And as far as arrest report goes, we have a Mr. Bristol from Ellenborough, failure to heed light and siren. We've got a Noah Lauder from Forest City, order to show cause for failure to pay fines, and a criminal summons, failure to appear. Ashley Fry of Forest City, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, injury to personal property, and resist and obstruct public officer. We've got a Roy Short, appears he had a fugitive charge. Lucas Harden of Forest City, failure to appear on misdemeanor. We had Gregory Garner, a misdemeanor stalking of Rutherfordton. Angelina Harden of Rutherfordton, failure to appear on misdemeanor, ×2. A John Rogers from Spindale, failure to appear on misdemeanor. And a Carlene Wilson of Morganton, second-degree trespass. And that's it.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
You have a safe day.
Bye-bye.
Does your financial advisor take the time to really listen to you? Is your financial strategy personalized for you and your family? Will your financial advisor be there as your life and financial situation change? Hi, I'm Andrew Tisdale, your local Edward Jones financial advisor. When we work together, we focus what's important to you. We create a personalized strategy backed by our advice, our tools, and resources to help you reach your goals. And we partner together to help your strategy stay on track no matter what happens. Contact me at any time at 828-287-9197. We'll sit down, talk, and we're going to make a strategy that's right for you.
Here's Jesse now with the 911 Communications Center report for this Monday morning. Good morning. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How are you?
Good. Tell us what's been going on.
In the past 48 hours, the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office 911 Communications has processed 577 911 calls and administrative calls, which consisted of 96 EMS calls, 282 Sheriff's Office calls, Forest City 109, Lake Lure to 8, Rutherford to 50, Spindale to 73. Bostic investigated a fire investigation. Cliffside responded to a structure fire and a woods fire assisted by Sandy Mush, Ellenborough, and SDO. Ellenborough respond to a fire investigation and a structure fire assisted by Cliffside and Sandy Mush. Fire City respond to a vehicle accident and an illegal burn. Green Hill responded to a fire investigation. Rutherford responded to a brush fire. Sandy Mush responded to an appliance fire. SDA responded to a fire investigation, and Spindale responded to an illegal burn, and that's all we've got today.
All right. It sounds like you're pretty busy over the weekend. Jesse, thank you very much for that report, and you have a good day.
You too.
Bye. Well, last week we reported that the Dollar General on Railroad Avenue had been robbed. Well, they've got their man. Joseph Doyle Medford, 31, of Rutherfordton, has been arrested and charged with one count of armed robbery in connection with Friday afternoon's armed robbery of the Dollar General on West Street, Spindale. That's West and Railroad Avenue there. Based on a tip from a citizen, deputies with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office located the suspect vehicle at 814 Chimney Rock Road in Rutherfordton. After locating the vehicle, officers with Spindale Police Department, Rutherfordton Police Department, and Rutherford County Sheriff's Office approached the residence and located Mr. Medford, along with 3 additional individuals inside the residence. All were detained while a search warrant for the premise and suspect vehicles was applied for and obtained. Items linking Medford to the robbery were located and seized from the residence. Medford was taken to the Rutherford County Slammer, where he received a $150,000 secured bond. Spindale Police would like to thank the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Rutherfordton Police Department, Rutherford County Fire Marshal's Office, and the citizens of Rutherford County for their assistance in this investigation and arrest. Here's Ruby Taylor now reporting from Danieltown SDO Fire District. See if anything's been going on over there. Ruby, how you doing?
I'm doing okay.
What's going on over there? Anything?
Fire department had 2 calls to assist Cliffside on a structure fire and a fire investigation. And on my birthday counter, I've got Cody Toms, Joyce Tate, Joyce Walker, David Skipper, and Chris Crow is having birthdays today. And Mr. and Ms. Paul Henry, Mr. and Ms. Robert Marr, Mr. and Ms. Terry Baynard, and Mr. and Ms. Steve Wood is having an anniversary. And hope all these people have a nice day. Signs are in the heart today and going to the bowels tomorrow. That's all I've got.
Thanks, Ruby. I appreciate it. You have a good Monday.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thinking about the departure of a loved one through death is a subject we don't like to talk about. However, pre-planning or prepaying for a funeral is a consideration and responsible thing to do. With so many options available today, it's important to speak with someone you can trust and someone who can help you find a balance between the emotional, spiritual, and financial needs of your loved ones. Crow's Mortuary and Crematory is recognized as one of the best family-run funeral homes. It's a family tradition, and they know how to care for your family. Any questions you might have, they will be happy to answer. Call Crow's Mortuary and Cremation Services at 286-2304.
All right, at 7:23 this Monday morning. Let's welcome Gary Wilson back to the radio. He's been away having a little repair work done. Gary, how you doing?
Yeah, doing good, Jim. How you doing?
Doing fine. You got through that okay and recuperating fine?
Got through it okay and still going through some rehab and everything. Takes a while to get an old body put back together, but it's getting there. Got some good doctors, good rehab people, so
good. Well,
things starting to get on the mend now.
Well, I'm glad. I'm glad to hear that. You're probably about as good, almost as good as new now.
It's a lot of difference in the 70-something-year-old body and the 50-something-year-old body, I'll tell you that. They don't bounce back quite as fast.
I hear you.
Did you like that Super Bowl yesterday?
You know, I didn't see a bit of it. I didn't watch it at all. I was pulling for the underdog, whoever that was going to be, but the underdog apparently didn't win, so I don't know. I didn't watch it. Did you watch it?
Made it through the third quarter and fell asleep, so it was a good game, though. It ended up, I think, around won by 3 points, so that was a good Super Bowl.
Yeah, that's better than some we've had in the past, isn't it?
Yeah, most of them are not too good, but that was a pretty good one. But we're quiet up here this morning. Had a good quiet weekend all the way around in the Bills Creek and Fairfield area, looks like. And sitting on about 28 degrees and no precipitation overnight. Looked like some clear skies for a couple of days, a little chilly weather, but some sunshine anyway. And that's about all we got to report up here, Jim.
Did you like the halftime show?
I seen a little bit of it. I was in and out of the room watching some of it. It was, if you're into that kind of music, it was a good show, I guess.
What I could read and hear on the news, it sounded like the halftime show sounded like a grab your crotch kind of show.
It was a fast one. I know that. It didn't last long.
Yeah, good. Well, that's probably good.
Yeah, probably.
Well, you keep recuperating up there, and thanks for keeping us posted. And we'll check back in with you tomorrow.
All right, talk to you again.
Thanks, Gary. Gary Wilson back on with us this morning from Fairfield Mountains Fire District, overlooking Bills Creek as well. Well, Washburn General Store is one of our places, one of our favorite places, run by local folks, but a historically significant store. Now, they're closing on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Sundays now. So tomorrow you'll need to get over there and freshen up on the items that you like to buy for friends. If you've got friends coming in here from someplace else that's not familiar with our store, then you need to take them over there and show them, hey, I want you to go somewhere with me, and I want you to see this store. And they'll be as impressed as you are. So make sure you do that when you have friends come into Washburn store. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, Fridays, and Saturdays. Closed Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Washburn General Store between Bostic and Sunshine on the Bostic Sunshine Highway. Well, let's check in now with DeVern over at Bostic and see what's been happening over there. Good morning, DeVern.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm great. Did you have a good weekend?
I had a pretty good weekend. It went up and downs kind of thing. And went to a funeral on Saturday. They was always sad to go to those. But other than that, I had family in for a big meal yesterday, so that was fun.
Well, that's wonderful. Well, over here in Bostic, the temperature is 28 degrees. It's a little cold. The fire department responded to a smoke investigation. We have one birthday, Candy Chapman. She works at Chase High School. And I want to wish everyone a happy Valentine's Day. And if you hadn't got your sweetheart something for Valentine, go by Bostic Florist and check it out. And hope everyone has a good day.
Darren, you have a great day as well, and I'll look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
Thank you.
Bye.
Hey folks, Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply is an amazing store. I can say that because they have what you need. From pet supplies to fire and ant killer to horse quality Timothy alfalfa hay, $14 per bale. Attention carp fishermen, they have C&J flavoring, only $8 per bottle. And they have oats for sale. Refill your propane tanks at the lowest price. Fully stocked with all your deer supplies and a great selection of farm implements. Need mulch? $12 per scoop. We could call it a superstore. Farmer's Friend Feed Seed Supply, 188 Whiteside Road in Rutherfordton.
All right, let's head over toward the Hudlow Fire District. Mr. Bob Hodge is up and at 'em. He's on the phone to give us the news from there. Bob, how you doing this morning?
We're doing just fine. Happy Valentine's morning.
Happy Valentine's to you as well. I hope you are being kind to your Valentine today.
Oh, I have to do that, yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Of course, I bet you're kind to her every day.
Well, I hope so. You got to make Mama happy. If she ain't happy, nobody's happy there.
Yeah,
so
you're right about that.
Have to get her some flowers there, yeah. But, Jim, things are going along good up here this morning, and with the fire department over the weekend, it's quiet. Hadn't had any fire calls, so that's good. And Relton Fire Department is having a blood drive coming up Wednesday, February the 16th, and that's from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And, Jim, other than that, things are going along good up here on this here Monday morning.
Well, I'm glad to hear that, Bob, and I appreciate you looking after things for us and reporting back to us, and we'll look forward to talking to you again tomorrow.
All right. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Bob. Let me brag on Hutchins Pest Control a minute. Don't let the pest bug you when Hutchins Pest Control is as close as a phone call. Honest, dependable, professional, and on-time service may be the reason they keep getting voted best pest control. If you have a pest problem, call this family-run business at 287-5171. Licensed in North and South Carolina and fully insured and bonded. Get a free estimate when you call Hutchins Pest Control and be sure the job is done right. That's Hutchins Pest Control. Call them today at 287-5171 and they'll be right there. And a reminder to all the guys and gals, too, really, this is Valentine's Day. This is the day that you show a little extra affection, a little extra gift, maybe a Valentine, a box of candy, or flowers, or jewelry. Those kind of things really make them happy. So do that. And speaking of that, our grand prize winner Name will be drawn a little about 10 minutes after 8 today on our Be My Baby Valentine promotion. But a lot of preliminary winners, a lot of great prizes given, and this grand prize box is loaded with great gifts. And we'll do that about 10 minutes after 8 this morning, so be sure to hang around and find out who the grand prize winner is going to be. Let's head over to the Cherry Mountain Fire District now and talk with Sue Price and see what's happening over there. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim.
How you feeling today?
Doing good. Hope you are.
Yes, indeed.
It's a beautiful morning over here. Had a pretty sunrise.
Almost a full moon out there. Almost just a little bit more, it'll be completely full.
Well, let's see. Have no calls from the fire department. On my church calendar, I've got no, I don't have anything on my church calendar today. On my personal calendar, I want to wish a very happy anniversary to Jay Van and Ann Kelton. They're celebrating their 57th anniversary today, so I hope they'll have a good day.
Congratulations.
Yes. And Fairview has an anniversary for Conrad and Debbie Sursland. And First Broad has birthdays for Eva Ryan and anniversaries for Tim and Shelley Smith and Kyle and Sherry Towery. We hope those folks will have a good day. And I wish everybody, all our good listeners out there, a happy Valentine's Day. And today is the blood drive up at the Golden Valley Community Clubhouse from 3 to 7 p.m. So if you can give blood, that'll be a good thing to do today. Might save a life. And so far, that's the only announcement I have. It's just quiet and calm over here looking for a good day, and I hope you'll have one, Jim.
Thanks, Sue. I'll check in with you tomorrow.
All right.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Cheryl, have you been to the Homeworks Design Center inside Henson Building Materials in Forest City?
Oh, yes. Shana, David, and William are incredible at designing kitchen and bath cabinetry for my new she shed.
Your what?
And they have a full line of windows and doors on display in their 5,000 square foot showroom. And they'll install any ones you pick out for me.
Oh, you're too good to me.
I know. With selling and installing, it's basically one-stop shopping.
Henson Building Materials, 177 Duke Street, Forest City.
Building starts here.
Nobody gets a better deal than the customers at Sisk Family Ford. They have a proven record of the best deals. Sisk Family Ford, Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealer, has recently been recognized as the #1 Ford dealer in customer satisfaction in the Southeast. That speaks well of their commitment to serve their customers well. Look for all the new design 2021 F-150 at Rutherford County's only locally owned new car dealership. That's Sisk Family Ford, Oak Street, Forest City. Now it's 7:33 on this Monday morning. Let's check it up at Shingle Hollow Fire District. And Tina White, good morning. How you doing?
I am doing well. I'm just a beautiful Valentine's morning. Isn't it going to be a pretty day for Valentine's?
It really is. A beautiful day and breezy out there, though, but it's going to be nice.
We can bundle up. It's 31 degrees. Still not used to the cold weather. It's the middle of winter. The fire department didn't have any calls in the past 24 hours. And got a birthday today. No, not a birthday, anniversary for Susan and Ricky McIntyres on Pauline Baptist Church calendar. I was surprised that I didn't have more anniversaries with it being the Day of Love.
You'd think so, wouldn't you?
Yeah, and no birthdays. So it's just short, calm, quiet. And today, be nice to a widow or a widower today. If you know somebody that is, call them and just talk to them a little while, because it's got to be difficult.
Sure. That's a good idea too. That's a good suggestion.
Well, I'm enjoying my coffee, and March 7th through 11th at 7 p.m., Wayne Stafford says there's going to be a revival at Pilgrim Way Baptist Church, and everyone's invited. I know you announced that in the mornings and several times through the day, but he wanted me to let you know too.
Sure.
And the Deddy sisters, I have a correction. Imagine that. February 27th At the 11 a.m. service, the Daddy Sisters are going to be at Piney Knob Baptist Church.
Well, good. Good. I understand they're quite good.
You need to come watch. Do you have a CD or their music? Are you allowed to play that on your radio?
Yes, I don't have anything by them. I would play that if I had something by them. Yes, I don't have a thing by them. Are they local? Are they regional? Or where are they from?
Oh, they are. I can't tell you.
Yeah.
I was thinking Kentucky, but for some reason that doesn't sound right, so I'll have to investigate a little bit.
Okay.
And I'll try to get a CD for you. We have one, and Nevaeh listens to it over and over and over again. She can just sing it, the whole CD.
Good.
But I'll get one so you can play.
Sure, be glad to.
All right. Well, everybody have a wonderful day of love, and I will talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thanks so much, Tina. You have a good one.
Bye-bye.
36 minutes after 7 o'clock here on WCAB. The big grand prize drawings taking place about 10 minutes after 8 o'clock this morning for the Be My Baby Valentine promotion.
Farm Bureau Insurance doesn't hire celebrities to push auto coverage. We think people might like to make decisions based on service and savings, not just because that guy from that show says it's a good idea. Instead of faces you know from your TV, we offer faces you know from your neighborhood, because we're headquartered in North Carolina with local agents right in your town. That's really the only thing we want to be famous for. North Carolina Farm Bureau Insurance, helping you is what we do best.
In Rutherford County, please call 287-2428.
North Carolina Farm Bureau Mutual Insurance Company, Farm Bureau Insurance of North Carolina, Inc., Southern Farm Bureau Life Insurance Company, Jackson, Mississippi, an independent licensee of the Blue Cross and Blue Shield Association.
And we're going up to Union Mills next to get the Cali report from Brenda, see how things are up on the hillside there, and see what kind of action nightlife they had up in Union Mills over the weekend. And here she is reporting now, Brenda Kelly. Good morning.
Good morning, Jim Bishop. How are you on this marvelous Monday morning?
I'm so happy it's Monday.
I know you are. You got to go back to work. You and Luther's kin to each other. Just look forward to that. Oh, man. But we hope everybody's having a good day. It's the sun's coming up. It looks like it's going to be a pretty day, but it's cold, and I am very cold. When you give your temperature, I thought, well, I better go check mine again. I might have looked at that wrong. But I've got 20 degrees on the front porch, and I've checked it twice. So it's cold up here in the hills.
Yeah, I believe it is. We're still 33. Started out that way. We're still there. So you must have all the cold weather up your way.
I started out at 20, and I'm still 20. But the sun's peeking over the mountain here, so it won't be long till it'll warm up a little bit. But it is cold.
Makes that fire feel good, doesn't it?
Do what?
Makes that fire feel good, doesn't it?
Oh, yeah. You know it does. But we hope everybody has a good day today. I don't have but one birthday, and that's my great-grandson, Justice Friday. So I hope Justice has a great old big day on his special day. He's 14 today. And in ways of announcement, Saturday, February the 26th, Union Mills Wilderness Race, 5K, 10K, and virtual options. In-person race starts at 10 a.m., and the cost is $25. Pre-register at the website Information Fund on UMLC Facebook page or by contacting 828-429-5871. And so far, that's all the announcements I got. I was glad to hear that they caught whoever robbed the Dollar General down there on West Street.
Yes, and thanks to citizen participation, they were able to run him down real fast, and that's
right.
What it helps when people really give information they know about, and that helps the police do their work.
Oh yeah, it really does. And our Dollar General is open up here now.
Oh, has it?
Yeah, it opened. Let's see, I stopped by there Saturday, and I think they'd been open 2 days.
And where's it located?
Right, you know where the fire department is?
Union Mills?
Yeah, when you turn off at 221 on the Hudlow, it's right there.
Okay, yeah, sure.
Be right there on the left if you're turning off at 221 from Ruston.
Sure.
Yeah. So I'm glad we got that, because we don't have anything around here.
Well, they're everywhere. Dollar General's everywhere.
Yeah, and they carry a little bit of everything.
They do. Their shelves have been empty here lately, some of them. They haven't been able to get a lot of merchandise. I stopped in one the other day, pick up paper towels or something. Can't remember what it was, and they had one aisle. Almost all the shelves were empty.
I know it. Well, it's like that even in the grocery stores.
Yeah.
You go in and there's hardly nothing. But this one was well stocked because it had just opened.
Yeah.
But,
well, I expect them to keep growing. They seem to be growing, and they're be located one in your backyard if you're not careful.
Well, that's all right. They can put one in my backyard, and I'll just walk to it. I don't like to go to Walmart's. It's just too big and too busy and too much. And if you're over on the grocery side and you thought, oh, I forgot to get the dog treats, you got to walk all the way back across that great old big store just to get your dog treats.
I hear you.
But a lot of people love it, but I don't. But I'm glad that our Dollar General's open. And I guess you better go check on Luther's Sweet Thing and see if things is all right in Ellenborough.
Well, you have a wonderful day.
You too. Catch you later.
Bye. You know, nothing strikes fear in the hearts of people more than receiving an IRS audit letter in the mail. Audits take much time away from your business and family, requiring you to gather mounds of records, and can become overwhelming unless you have someone you can depend on to take care of that for you. That's why we can recommend IE Accounting and Tax Service. Chris and his team of professionals are in the business to help. Even if you depended on someone else to prepare your taxes, IE Accounting and Tax Service will be glad to assist you or your company. Don't hesitate to call. As a small business owner, you have more important things to do than keep your own books. Why not let IE Accounting and Tax Service take care of that for you, so you can get back to the job of running your business? Consider their payroll solutions for your business, cash flow management, litigation support, and forensic investigation. Why not give them a call and see what they can do for your business? Here's that phone number, 828-395-1777. They're at 211 West Main Street, Spindale. Again, that's 395-1777, and it's spelled Aryee. All right, let's check in now over in Ellenborough, Fire District over there. Luther Gilligan keeps his eye on things for us and reports back to us. So, Luther, here's your reporting time. Good morning.
Good morning. It's a nice day there this morning. A little cool, but it's a nice day.
A little breezy out there.
Yeah, it's going to warm up a little bit. May not be much, but have a little bit of help. But it's quiet this morning. Not a whole lot going on. Everybody's just trying to get out, back to work, get another week started. In the fire department, they had 2 medical calls over the weekend. We're down at 55th out on structure fire down there. And they had 1 structure fire here. And Fifth Side and Boston come help with it. And see, then they had about midnight this morning, have a fire investigation there on Race Pass Road. So they didn't get bored over the weekend. They had plenty going on. But it's quiet this morning. Nothing else happening, so you have a great day up there. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
All right, thanks very much. You enjoy your day, and I'll see you tomorrow.
All right, take care now.
Bye. Well, it's the 14th day of February, and it's time to check birthdays and anniversaries for this date. How many were married on this date? We have one to report I know of, came in earlier, and one, some maybe birthdays too. So call yours in so we can celebrate with you. 287-3356, 287-3356. Birthdays and anniversaries up next.
Your car's best friend can be RS Speedy Lube Service Center. That's because RS Speedy Lube Service Center and Car Wash can keep your car or truck running clean with a regular oil change. They check the fluids and vacuum out the car and have you on your way in no time. Go next door for a radiator or transmission flush, brakes, exhaust, CV joints, and service for big trucks and campers also available. Pull next door to the RS Speedy Automatic Car Wash and make your car happy with a clean, all under and all over car wash. It's all at RS Service Center and Car Wash on Railroad Avenue in Rutherford-Ton.
It can be a tough call when it comes time to provide a daycare service for an aging parent or a loved one. You can always depend on Rutherford Life Services for a safe facility that offers medical monitoring, nutritional meals, fun activities, and is a loving environment. Rutherford Life is licensed by the State of North Carolina Division of Aging. They will be glad to answer any questions you may have. Call them at 288-1697. Rutherford Life Services offers a trained staff of professionals who you can entrust your loved one to. Rutherford Life Services is located at 230 Fairground Road in Spindale.
We're just minutes away from the big drawing for the Be My Baby Valentine promotion. Be My Baby Valentine. We have Be Kind Who we should be doing that. Okay. I tell you. All right, good. Oversight there this morning. And we'll do that drawing about 10 minutes after the hour. Right now, though, we want to check on birthdays and anniversaries.
Happy birthday.
we're being kind today to Tiffany and Lee Smith. It's their 24th anniversary up in Golden Valley. Want to wish them a happy anniversary. Also, Jay and Sharon Allen of Rutherfordton celebrating their 36th wedding anniversary. And Tim and Shelley Smith, it's their 30 years. Justin Fowler's of Ellenborough is having a birthday today. And Lee and Tiffany Smith, just mentioned them, of Golden Valley. It's their 24th. Want to wish them a happy birthday. Also, birthdays today include Jack Benny. He was a comedian. He was born in 1894, died in 1974. Florence Henderson was born in 1934, died in 2016. Events on this day include 1794, the first U.S. textile machinery patent. 1849, James K. Polk became the first U.S. president to have a picture taken. 1859, Oregon admitted as the 33rd state in the Union. 1912, Arizona admitted as the 48th state. 1919, United Parcel Service, UPS, formed. 1931, original Dracula film with Bela Lugosi is released. This is National Football Hangover Day. I can understand that, I guess. National Clean Out Your Computer Day. National Cream-Filled Chocolate Day. Ooh, I like that. National Donor Day, National Ferris Wheel Day, and, of course, it is Valentine's Day, so will you be my Valentine? Tim and Sue Spurgeon have an anniversary today on Valentine's Day as well, so happy anniversary to those nice folks. Now, we'll find out in just a moment, keys to confident living, and 10 minutes after 8 o'clock is one big drawing for the grand prize. Stand by.
An unknown author suggested a 12-month recipe for successful and happy living. Surprisingly, it does not focus a lot on the things that many think will bring them happiness. Also, it does not depend very much on good fortune and luck. The author starts out by encouraging the individual to clear the slate of bitterness, hostility, resentment, and jealousy. Getting rid of the little specks of pettiness will also help a lot. Then plan to fill each day with a generous mixture of faith, patience, courage, work, without which the other ingredients are spoiled, hope, fidelity, generosity, kindness, rest, prayer, and meditation. Add a touch of fun, a dash of play, and a cup full of good humor. Pour love into the whole mixture and mix with enthusiasm. Decorate with smiles and a sprinkling of joy, then serve with cheerfulness and unselfishness. Following these directions for an entire year will inevitably increase your prospects for a truly successful life. There is very little in this prescription about getting, taking, climbing to the top, my rights, or other things that are the modern way to be successful. Jesus taught that if you want to get, you must give, and before you can truly receive, you must give away. This is Bill Hostler with today's Key to Confident Living. Scripts for today's Key to Confident Living are now available in book form by calling toll-free 1-888-333-KEYS.
Good morning, everybody. Time to get up and
WCAB. The music's on us on WCAB.
News. I'm Alex Stone at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. Overnight celebrations in the streets here after the LA Rams pulled off a last-minute win over the Cincinnati Bengals 23-20 with a drive for the record books with under 2 minutes to go. They had been trailing, coming out with a Super Bowl win. LA didn't have any teams a few years ago. Now they are Super Bowl champions.
Are we feeling good? We're just happy that we're here. We're blessed for the fact that we had the chance. Hey, what's good? Inglewood is good.
Now the morning after, and eyebrows are being raised over the lack of masks worn. Almost nobody was seen wearing one. Pictures today circulating of Mayor Eric Garcetti again not wearing a mask, even though the county said they were mandatory. This unvaccinated Bengals fan tells me, that vaccination or negative test proof they were supposed to show.
Walked right in, not one time was anything mentioned, hey, we need to see your negative test or your vaccination.
Nobody asked.
Nobody, not one person.
There's anger on social media that kids still have to wear masks in schools here, but pretty much nobody had them on last night. I'm Alex Stone, ABC News at SoFi Stadium this morning. Now with more news, here's Dave Packer.
President Biden will hold a call with transatlantic leaders today to discuss Ukraine. He spoke over the weekend with Vladimir Putin as well as Ukraine's president. But as ABC's Ian Pannell tells us from Ukraine, there's fading hope that diplomacy will stop a Russian invasion.
Everybody seems to be bracing. And I was speaking to someone at one of the embassies who said, look, they've seen this intelligence, and frankly, it's scary.
And President Biden telling Americans in Ukraine to leave the country. U.S. Olympic officials say they're disappointed by the message sent by an arbitration court to clear 15-year-old Russian figure skater Kamila Valieva to compete in the Beijing Olympics after she failed a drug test. On Wall Street, futures are lower. You're listening to ABC News.
If I'm going to work from my home office, I need my home office to work for me.
It's possible at Staples. To be most productive, my home office needs to have everything my office has. Also possible because your local Staples store has the tools your business needs to get work done from home. And right now, you can save up to 40% on select chairs to put the finishing touch on your home office. Explore what's new at Staples, the working and learning store. Ends 2/26. In-store only while supplies last.
On our first date, we had masks on and kept 6 feet apart. Now, we're a lot closer.
Just like Cliff and Deb, thousands of singles over 50 found their perfect match on Silver Singles last year.
I feel like I'm 20 years old again, and I'm pretty sure she feels the same way.
Rediscover the magic of dating with Silver Singles, the exclusive community for singles over 50. Sign up today and receive daily matches you won't want to miss at silversingles.com/radio. silversingles.com/radio.
11 are hurt after a man on a bike armed with a knife rode around parts of Albuquerque, stabbing people, the suspect under arrest. Federal prosecutors today expected to rest their case in the trial of 3 former Minneapolis cops. They were the officers on the scene when their colleague, former cop Derek Chauvin, killed George Floyd by kneeling on his neck. One of former President Trump's fiercest defenders may soon be talking to the congressional committee investigating the January 6th riot. Sources tell ABC News Rudy Giuliani's in talks with the committee. Here's ABC's Kenneth Moten.
Giuliani was subpoenaed by the committee last month. A committee aide telling ABC News his appearance was rescheduled at his request as negotiations continue. But sources say a deal is nowhere near final, and the extent of Giuliani's cooperation remains to be seen.
And one dating app is hoping the right sound could help make people make a love connection.
If you're looking for love this Valentine's Day, you may want to try listening for it instead. Back in October, dating app Hinge introduced a feature that allows users to upload 30-second audio recordings to their profiles.
Hinge asked me to add a voice prompt, so here I am. Hello?
Hinge's Chief Product Officer, Michelle Parsons, says they work.
If you have a voice prompt on your profile, you're 2 times more likely to match with somebody, and you're 1.4 times more likely to actually go out on a date with somebody.
Michelle Franzen, ABC News.
This is ABC News.
Exergen would like you to know about an important study just released by the FDA. It confirms what the medical community has known all along. Non-contact thermometers are not accurate. The study also reports that they fail to meet FDA requirements for accuracy in labeling. We can't afford to tolerate the rampant false temperature readings from non-contact thermometers. Accurate temperature measurements are essential. You need Exergen thermometers because they are accurate and backed by over 100 clinical studies. Be sure, be accurate with Exergen. Learn more at Exergen.com.
Dave Packer, ABC News.
High temperatures will head into the lower 40s and the mid-50s for today. We just have to get past some of that early fog and frost that's out there. As we head into tonight, it's going to be another mostly clear one. This time not as cold as it was last night. We'll fall into the mid-20s with high temperatures tomorrow on the milder side in the low to upper 50s. We are tracking the system that's going to roll through on Thursday. Highs will be very warm, but it could bring some gusty winds and rain. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
We've warmed up out of the freezer locker now. We're just above it, just above freezing at 34 degrees, warming up to about 52, but don't let that be misleading because the wind gusting to 60 miles per hour, which is going to feel very chilly. Tonight we're dropping back to 26. It's sunny every day this week except Thursday. We got some rain coming, maybe Wednesday night and Thursday. And then maybe Friday, it's clearing out here by Friday morning. It'll be another beautiful weekend with sunny skies on Saturday with highs around 56 degrees. Now it's Monday morning time, and it's time for us to go to work, find out where some jobs are to go to work. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen, to give us that report. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Good. Tell us where some jobs are we can go to.
All right. Come on, don't do that. We've got a personal care assistant, and the Far City is $10 an hour, requires no experience. We've got a counter in Columbus. It does not require experience or education. We got a maintenance technician out in Far City. The starting pay is $15. Requires a high school diploma and a year's experience. We have a direct care professional out in Columbus. The pay begins at $10.50. They want high school diploma. We have a laborer in Far City. That pay starts at $12. That doesn't require any education, but they would like you to have 6 months experience. A food production worker out in Far City. That pay starts at $12. That doesn't require any high school, but they would like you to have a year of experience in the food industry in some type. A processing assistant 5 out in Spindale. That yearly salary is $31,685 a year. That does require a high school diploma and 3 years experience of office. Installation technician out in Far City. No education, no experience required. We have a recovery guide, temporary to permanent, out in Ellenborough. That does require a high school diploma. We have an overnight awake recovery guide in Ellenborough. That does require high school also, and 3 months. We have a shipping clerk in Far City. That pay is anywhere from $23,000 to $49,000 a year, but they do want you to have a high school diploma. A sheet metal worker out in Rutherfordton. That pay starts at $16 an hour up to $25. They want you to have 3 months experience. A mold changer out in Far City. That pay is started at $20 an hour. That does not require any high school or any education. A distribution line apprentice 4 in Spindale. That requires a high school diploma and 4 years experience. And the pay is dependent on experience. And also, this Wednesday, we have the Department of Safety for hiring an event here from in our office from 10 to 1. And also on the 23rd, which is next Wednesday, we have a interview, job applications. It's a virtual workshop. We will send you the link and get you connected in there. It's a workshop that you don't have to come to the office to do, that you can do it virtually. And for any of those jobs for the workshop, just give us a call at 828-286-3042. And our address is 223 on Charlotte Road in Rutherfordton. And come on out, and we'll see if we can help connect you with an employer. We can help you with a resume. And also we have training opportunities. So just come on.
Sounds good, Anita. I appreciate you being with us, and thank you for the information, and I look forward to talking to you again. Let's see, now, next Monday you'll be off, I guess, right?
No, we'll be here.
21st day, is that not a holiday?
It probably is, but not for us.
Oh, okay. All right. Not for us either.
The next holiday we get will be Good Friday.
Oh, okay. That's down the road a ways. Well, thank you so much. You have a wonderful day and a good week.
You too, dear.
Thanks.
All right.
Bye-bye. And coming up in just a couple of minutes, the drawing for the grand prize of the Be My Baby Valentine weekend. And we'll have all that action right here in just a few moments.
Being free means your connection goes where you go, from local favorites to faraway places. And with our Better Than Free event at Carolina West Wireless, you can save over $1,000 on our most popular smartphones with an eligible trade-in and when you bring your own number. Or take home a free Samsung Galaxy A12 smartphone and get an additional $150 in credits when you switch. Celebrate the freedom to take your service anywhere with a Better Than Free deal from Carolina West Wireless. Certain restrictions apply. See representative for details or visit carolinawest.com/terms and conditions.
Law enforcement is a tough job. Hello, I'm Theo, and I'm running for sheriff. I bring 20-plus years of experience. I'm the only candidate for sheriff that has served as a state trooper and federal agent. I would like to bring that experience into the county I love and want to protect. I am a tough on-crime law enforcement officer, and when elected, I am committed to shutting down the drug houses and making our county safe for our kids and grandkids again. I would like the opportunity to meet you and answer any questions you have. Let's win this battle together. Vote for Theo for Sheriff Tuesday, May 17th. Paid for by Steve Theodoropoulos, Republican for Sheriff.
All right, 11 minutes after 8 is a big day here in the Blue Room. We've been promising you this all for about, several weeks now, and folks have sent in cards like you wouldn't believe. Valentines and their name, their sweetheart's name, and many people have won preliminary prizes over the week. And we had a lot of prizes given away. And Tracy Smith has worked a lot of gifts, and she has the list in front of her for the grand prize. Tracy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Jim.
How are you doing?
Well, if I can get this frog out of my throat, I'll be doing great.
I have that same problem this morning. Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you. Happy Valentine's Day to you.
Read a list of some of the prizes that the grand prize winner is going to be getting this morning.
Okay. Well, first and foremost, they're going to get a dinner for two, chauffeur limousine to Gregory's Restaurant. They'll be getting a $100 gift certificate from the Burnt Chimney, which is a nice, beautiful gift certificate. Fudge from America's Fudge Shop. A Tree of Life necklace, compliments of Butler's Jewelry. A man's haircut, compliments from Haircutters. A big box of Valentine candy from Hardin's Drug. 1 dozen red roses from Bostic Florist. A gift basket from Green Hill Store. A 1-hour massage session. Let's say that 3 times. 1-hour massage session from Linda Badeau, and 2 spring shows Southern tickets. 2 spring shows Southern. Did I say that backwards?
2 tickets to the Southern Spring Show.
That's it, and that's our lineup.
I'm glad you have a Monday morning experience like I do a lot of mornings. There's a lot of great gifts there. And
yes,
we appreciate
it is.
all the folks who have lined up to be a part of this every year. We've got a lot of preliminary prizes given away as well that's not on this list. And all the folks that have been sending cards in wishing to be a winner, we hope you're lucky to do that. And we have always said many times in the past, those preliminary prize winners will certainly be eligible to win the grand prize, and we see how that's going to work out. Tracy, you want to shake them up here? I wish I had a whole lot of time to play a lot of love songs this morning after this, but I got to move along with nothing. She's going to shake him up and pull out a name, and we'll see indeed who that lucky grand prize winner is going to be this morning as she reaches over. Those that are watching online can see that she's reached into the box and pulling out a name, and we'll have that name here in just a moment. And read that card to us.
It's Valentine's Day. I wanted to get a special card for you, so I looked up and down and all around. I looked, but nothing seemed to do. Doggone, it's hard to find a card with enough love for you.
Dogs on the front.
Yeah, there's dogs on the front. And the winner is Bessie and George Smith.
Oh, Bessie and George Smith.
I'm
not sure where they live, but they have a phone number, and we'll get in touch with them. Tracy can call them in a few minutes and line that up, and we'll set arrangements up to get the dinner set up for Gregory's. They always do a nice job over there, and wine and dine them and chauffeur limousine. We hope that works out. We might ahead of time caution those of you who, the couple that wins, if we get to chauffeur limousine, we will probably ask that you wear your mask in the limousine as you go and come. The restaurant's a little bit different, but if you want to ride the limousine, we ask that you prepare to wear a mask when you get in the limousine and get out of the limousine, and we hope everything's working. And again, that is George and
Bessie and George Smith of Bostic.
Bostic, okay,
Mhm.
good deal. Well, thank you, Tracy, for working that up for us and
Well,
working
you're
so
very
hard to
welcome.
get those prizes set up.
You're welcome. Another Valentine's we put behind us, Jim.
We'll do that again next year.
Yep.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
And I'll be back in just a moment. We have the Sheriff's Report with Deputy Mcloone coming up here in just a few. You know, there is a lot of misleading information about Medicaid eligibility. The Arledge Law Firm would like for you to know the truth. For instance, if you need a nursing home, Medicaid will take your home. That's not true. Another one is, if you transfer assets, you have to wait 60 months to qualify. Again, not true. And this big one, if you're already in a nursing home, it's too late to protect your assets. Not true, not true, not true. Call attorneys Gerald N. Willis, Kent Baldwin, or Martin Gerard at the Arledge Law Firm and get free consultation and learn the truth. It's more likely than you think that you may qualify for nursing home care and not lose everything you own. It's worth a call to Arledge Law Firm at 287-3338, located on East Court Street in Rutherfordton.
This is Dwayne Hunt with Insurance Service Associates. We know that due to COVID, many people don't want to come in the office. If you need to discuss your insurance needs or just make a payment, you can come through the drive-thru, telephone us, or drop in. We want to see you, but it doesn't have to be across from a desk. Insurance Service Associates, now located at 245 East Main Street in Forest City.
At Smith Drugs of Forest City, we are continue to offer the COVID-19 rapid testing and the COVID-19 vaccinations. Please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591 with any questions or concerns that you may have. You may also visit our website at smithsdrugsfc.com and schedule your COVID Rapid-19 test or your vaccination. Again, if you have any questions, please call our pharmacy at 828-245-4591.
It's that time again, time to get the flu vaccines. And Smith Drugs in Forest City has the flu vaccinations available. Walk-ins Monday through Friday and Saturdays by appointment. And Smith Drug is asking all their Dream Station and System 1 CPAP customers to call if you need any help with registering your recalled devices. Just call the Home Medical Department for any help or with questions at 828-245-4591. And Smith Drugs has the Moderna and Pfizer initial shots and the boosters. They also have the flu vaccines at Smith Drugs of Forest City.
Well, some of the stories from here and there this morning, we mentioned earlier, many of you know about this, the armed robbery at the Dollar General on West Street. They're facing Railroad Avenue on West Street. Was robbed last week, and Joseph Doyle Medford, 31, of Rutherfordton, has been arrested and charged with one count of armed robbery in connection with Friday's afternoon's armed robbery of the Dollar General. Based on a tip from a citizen, deputies with the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office located the suspect vehicle at 814 Chimney Rock Road in Rutherfordton. After locating the vehicle, officers with the Spindale Police Department, Rutherfordton Police Department, and Rutherford County Sheriff's Office approached the residence and located Mr. Medford along with 3 additional individuals inside the residence. All were detained while a search warrant for the premises and suspect vehicle were applied for and obtained, and items linking Medford to the robbery were located and seized from the residence. Medford was taken to the Rutherford County Slammer, where he received a $150,000 secured bond. Spindale Police would like to thank the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office, Rutherfordton Police Department, Rutherford County Fire Marshal's Office, and the citizens of Rutherford County for their assistance in this investigation and arrest. Well, it's going to be harder for anybody to hide from the Rutherford County Sheriff's Department anymore because they now have a drone. Gilkey Lumber Company and Pardon Lumber Company provided funding to the Rutherford County Sheriff's Office to enable to purchase a DJI Mavic 2 Enterprise drone. The drone was purchased from Axon, who also is the Sheriff's Office body camera provider. The drone has a digital zoom camera that has IR capabilities and can take still photos and video. All the evidence obtained is stored on the platform offered by Axon. The drone will be utilized to search for missing persons, fleeing suspects, provide overwatch for the Sheriff's Emergency Response Team, and mapping out large crime scenes. So congratulations to the Sheriff's Department, and thanks to Gilkey Lumber Company and Pardon Lumber Company for funding that drone for Rutherford County Sheriff's Department. 20 minutes after the hour of 8 o'clock. We've got a lot of pack in this week, a lot of stuff coming up. The February is getting going already. And again, let me mention the winners of the Valentine winner, Bessie and George Smith. Congratulations to them. We'll get in touch with them and see if they can make arrangements to have a good meal and a lot of the other prizes as well. Bessie and George Smith of Boston. Congratulations. And thank all of you who sent cards in. I wish everybody could win. It's always disappointing when the ones that I know would really love to win don't win, but that's the luck of the draw, and we appreciate you participating. One of these days, you may win, so keep playing, keep trying, and we'll see that we continue doing those kind of things because we like to let you know that we are the love station, and we'll be playing some love music throughout the day today because it is Valentine's Day. All right, the sheriff's report was given to us this morning by Deputy Mcloone, and we have that recorded for broadcast at this time. Let me again remind you, though, that we are being kind to Tiffany and Lee Smith of Golden Valley. It's their 24th wedding anniversary, so congratulations to our Golden Valley listeners, Tiffany and Lee Smith. And now here is Deputy Mcloone. And we're happy to have Bessie with us this morning, one of the winners of the Be My Baby Valentine. Bessie, how you doing?
Oh, I'm great.
Congratulations.
We are thrilled. Well, thank you so much.
It's lucky Monday morning for you and George, right?
Yes, that's right.
Well,
that's right.
We're glad you sent a card in, and there were many cards sent in, and when Tracy drew one out this morning, it happened to be Bessie and George Smith, and we're happy that you enjoy listening to WCAB, and we'll line you up and get you fixed up for the meal and all the prizes, and Tracy will set that up for you and get you lined up. So I want to talk to you on the air just a moment, so thank you again for listening, and thank you for sending the card in.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye. And that is our winner this morning, Bessie Smith, winning this morning. All right, now here is Deputy Mcloone.
Okay, well, in the last 24 hours, we've had 96 calls for service. We have 164 incarcerated in the jail and a total of 17 arrests. As far as incident reports go, we have theft from a motor vehicle reported by Paula Williams of Troutman, North Carolina. We had a damage to property reported by Maria Sanchez from Forest City. We had a breaking, entering, and a larceny reported by a Daryl Dwayne Crawford of Lake Lure. We had a felony larceny of a motor vehicle reported by Jacob Gardner of Rutherfordton. We had larceny of a firearm reported by a John Cosby from Ellenborough. And as far as arrest report goes, we have a Mr. Bristol from Ellenborough, failure to heed light and siren. We've got a Noah Lauder from Forest City, order to show cause for failure to pay fines, and a criminal summons, failure to appear. Ashley Fry of Forest City, unauthorized use of a motor vehicle, injury to personal property, and resist and obstruct public officer. We've got a Roy Short, appears he had a fugitive charge. Lucas Harden of Forest City, failure to appear on misdemeanor. We had Gregory Garner, a misdemeanor stalking of Rutherfordton. Angelina Harden of Rutherfordton, failure to appear on misdemeanor, ×2. A John Rogers from Spindale, failure to appear on misdemeanor. And a Carlene Wilson of Morganton, second-degree trespass. And that's it.
touchdown.
Al Michaels with the call on NBC as Super Bowl MVP Cooper Kupp hauled in his second touchdown reception of the night. That vaulted the Rams into the lead with 1:25 left. The defense then held the Bengals on their final drive to lock in the Rams' first Super Bowl championship since 1999 with a 23-20 final over the Bengals in Super Bowl 56. Aaron Darnold had two of the Rams' Super Bowl record-tying 7 sacks and made 2 key plays in the Bengals' final drive to preserve the win. He talked with NBC's Michelle Tafoya on the field after it was all over.
What did you see on that last play that enabled you to do what you did and make that stop?
Strain. You know, one last play to be world champs. Give it everything you got. I found the way to get to them. We made a play and we won. That's all that matters.
Bengals second-year QB Joe Burrow talked about the defensive pressure the Rams put on and his overall feelings about the experience of taking his team all the way to the championship.
They have a really good front. Aaron Donald, Von Miller, and Leonard Floyd are 3 of the best players in the league. We expected that they were going to get some pressure, so they did a good job. Obviously, it stings, but we had a great year. Didn't come out this last game the way we wanted to, but I think we still have something to celebrate.
Rams veteran quarterback Matthew Stafford threw for 283 yards and 3 touchdowns. Just a couple of NBA games on Super Bowl Sunday. The Boston Celtics now riding an 8-game win streak after a 105-95 win over the Atlanta Hawks. And Anthony Edwards scored 37 points and leading the Timberwolves to a 129-120 win over the Pacers.
I'm a nerd, and I'm pretty proud of it.
On the ice, the Avalanche have run their team record point streak to 19 games with a 4-0 win over the Dallas Stars. The Penguins picked up their 3rd straight victory by downing the Devils 4-2. The Senators had dropped 10 straight before beating the Capitals 4-1 in Washington. And former Carolina Hurricane Jeff Skinner notched his first career 4-goal game as the Sabres down the Canadiens 5-3. Josh Zach, NCN Sports.
Schools all over North Carolina have improved their STEM education offerings and are saving energy from the NC Green Power Solar Plus Schools Grant. And your school can too. The 2022 grant period is open now. Recipient schools receive an educational solar installation, a weather station, a STEM curriculum, and teacher training. Any North Carolina K-12 school can apply for a Solar Plus Schools Grant. Learn more at ncgreenpower.org. Act now. The application period ends February 28th. Apply at ncgreenpower.org.
If you or someone you know has been the victim of a crime, the North Carolina Department of Public Safety Office of Victim Services is here to provide support. The office provides a range of free, confidential services to help you regain yourself, receive compensation for damages incurred, protect yourself and your family, and move beyond the stigma of being victimized. Visit ncdps.gov/4victims. That's ncdps.gov/4victims.
Russian teenager Kamila Valieva can continue to compete in the Winter Olympics despite having failed a pregame drug test.
She will be allowed to compete despite testing positive for a banned drug less than 2 months ago. The 3-person panel cited Kamila Valieva's age.
This was exactly what the Russian Federation planned.
Olympic historian David Wolochensky.
That they could get away with something because Valieva is 15 years old.
The ruling only dealt with Valieva competing during the remainder of these Olympics, and it's conceivable she could be stripped of any medals she wins. Steve Futterman, CBS News at the Winter Olympics in Beijing.
Top 25 hoops. Number 3 Purdue held off Maryland. 13th ranked Illinois built a sizable lead to fend off Northwestern, and number 24 Connecticut rallied past St. John's. Josh Zach, NC.
High temperatures will head into the lower 40s and the mid-50s for today. We just have to get past some of that early fog and frost that's out there. As we head into tonight, it's going to be another mostly clear one. This time not as cold as it was last night. We'll fall into the mid-20s with high temperatures tomorrow on the milder side in the low to upper 50s. We are tracking the system that's going to roll through on Thursday. Highs will be very warm, but it could bring some gusty winds and rain. I'm meteorologist Peter Sherwood in the Weather Center.
It's 4 degrees right now. It's going to be a beautiful day with all the sun, but the wind's going to be a factor, so keep that in mind as you go out. It'll look like it's really nice out there. When you step outside, that wind will lip right through you, so prepare yourself for that when you can. 7 o'clock tonight, Coach Hubert Davis will be live on the radio from our network, for Tar Heel Network. Join us for that tonight at 7 o'clock. Right now, it's time for the Word of Faith Fellowship radio program, and with the program today is Mark Doyle.
Good morning, Rutherford County. I'm so grateful to be with you. Got some things I wanted to share with you. I hope you're all doing well. some of the verses I've been studying and reading about is just trouble in the land. We've got some trouble in our land these days, and I just saw in the scripture so many places where God speaks to us if these things happen. But I want to start off in Leviticus, where God's promises to us as a people if we keep his commands. And in Leviticus 26, starting verse 1, it says, "You shall make for yourself no idols, nor shall you erect a graven image, pillar, or obelisk, nor shall you place any figured stone in your land to which or on which to bow down, for I am the Lord your God." And we can see in archaeological digs and things like that, people used to do stuff like that, and God was not pleased, and he didn't want his people to be doing that. So if you look at our culture, our nation, we don't seem to do that. And then it goes on, it says in verse 2, "You shall keep my Sabbath and reverence my sanctuary. I am the Lord. If you walk," in verse 3, "if you walk in my statutes and keep my commandments and do them," this is the promise, "I will give you rain in due season, and the land shall yield her increase, and the trees of the field yield their fruit. And your threshing time shall reach to the vintage, and the vintage time shall reach to the sowing time, and you shall eat your bread to the full and dwell in your land securely." Those are all good things. Plenty of food, plenty of supplies, and there's no lack. And from season to season, you have everything that you need. And that's the promise of God if we don't do those three things, and if we keep his commandments and obey God. "And I will give you peace in the land." So that's a promise of God, that we'll have peace in our land if we walk with him and keep his commandments. "You shall lie down, and none shall fill you with dread or make you afraid." No fear in the land. "And I will clear ferocious wild beasts out of the land, and no sword shall go through your land. And you shall chase your enemies, and they shall fall before you by the sword." So you live in a lifestyle of victory over your enemies. And we see that this is the promise of God, that God gave his people that would serve him with all their heart. And I began to think about those three things, about no idols, keep his Sabbath, and reverence his sanctuary. And it speaks of that in the New Testament about idols. And in 1 John chapter 5, in verse 21, it says, "Little children, keep yourself from idols." So this is to the New Testament. This is in the New Testament. This is to believers. This is what an idol is in the way God describes it in the Word of God. "Little children, keep yourself from idols." So we don't erect those pillars and things around the land, but it says from anything and everything that would occupy the place in your heart due to God. From any sort of substitute for him that would take first place in your life. That's what an idol is. Anything that I put before God that comes before him is an idol. And God tells us that we shall make no idols. You can make yourself an idol, where what matters to you is more important than what God says about your life. There's so many examples. I can make sports, I can make eating, I can make cooking, I can make working, I can make anything an idol that I put it before God. But in our hearts should be, God, you are first. And I love you more than anything. And even in the Bible, Jesus said, if you seek the kingdom of God and his righteousness, then all these things will be added to you. And that's the life that Jesus has called you and me as believers to live. That we seek him first. That he's the most important thing in our life. And then all these things he'll add to us. And he'll give us the secret desires of our heart. He'll put within us the desire for his will. He'll add to us those things if we put him first. And so that was one of the first things God mentioned about whether the blessing of God would be in our land and in our lives. And we can see that there's curses and judgment in our land this day. There is trouble in the land. And then in Hebrews it talks about the Sabbath. Because, we know for the Jews it's Saturday. But for Christians it's been Sunday. And we know it as one day. But in the book of Hebrews it talks about the Sabbath rest. and keeping that Sabbath rest and going after it and seeking it with all your heart. And so the verse in chapter 4 or verse 9, it says, so then there is still awaiting a full and complete Sabbath rest reserved for the true people of God. That's what we want to be. We want to be the true people of God. For he who has once entered God's rest has also ceased from the weariness and pain of human labors, just as God rested from those labors, particularly his own. So we start seeing what this Sabbath rest is. The Sabbath is, let us therefore be zealous and exert ourselves and strive diligently to enter that rest of God, to know and experience it for ourselves, that no one may fall or perish by the same kind of unbelief and disobedience into which those in the wilderness fell. So the Sabbath rest is the ceasing from your own labor, doing it your way, doing it how you think it should be, and rather hearing God's voice and obeying him moment by moment, day by day, not leaning in and trusting into our own understanding, but inquiring of God. I mean, the best way to describe that Sabbath rest is when Jesus said in John 5:30, I can of my own self do nothing. And I don't make a judgment. I don't make a decision until the voice comes to me from the Father. Then I decide. And my decision is right and it's just. And so in everything that we do, we inquire of God. We ask God. We ask Jesus, is this your will? What is your will? I don't want my will. I want your will. And that working that into your lifestyle of every moment of the day is what brings you into that rest of where it's not, well, I got a lot to do today. I don't know how I'm going to get everything done today. And there's just a lot going on. That's not the Sabbath rest. It's Jesus, what do you want for me today? What do you have for me to do today? I only want to do your will. I don't want to have my list of things that I want to get done and don't even consider you. But as I inquire of God and I hear his voice and I'm led and controlled by the Spirit of God, then the grace of God is there for everything that he has me to do. There's peace in my heart. Even if, you're in the middle of business transactions and things and people are upset and screaming, and you have peace in the middle of it because you know that you can't do anything apart from God. And then as each situation comes during your day, God, what do you want me to do? And how would you have me to do it? And as his voice comes to you, you simply obey him. And it's the most amazing thing how your day unfolds, living that way, and God solves the problems, and God gives the wisdom, and God gives the word or the voice for each circumstance in each situation. There's so many things each of us, you and I, face every day that are beyond us. And we could go in there thinking we know and make a mess. Or it works out and we get lifted in pride and say, see what I did? I figured it out. I did it. And I know what I'm doing. And you lose your heart to God. But if you live your life saying, Jesus, I can of my own self do anything. I'm good at making messes and that's about it. And be humble before God and know that God knows everything about everything. And he has the wisdom, the right wisdom for every situation. And we seek him and we inquire of him and we ask him and we believe in him. Then we enter into that rest. It's a completely different way to live, contrary to the way the world lives. And that's what we want. We cease from our own labor, our own way, and in everything that we do. So that's one of the ways we live that. We observe his Sabbath. And then he talked about his sanctuary. He said, you reverence my sanctuary. So it's not a building that we're going to reverence, as the Jews did in the temple. And that was a type and shadow of what was to come. But it says in 1 Corinthians chapter 6, it's in verse 19, it says, do you not know this? That your body is the temple, the very sanctuary of the Holy Spirit who lives within you, whom you have received as a gift from God. You are not your own. You were bought with a price, purchased with a preciousness, and paid for, made his own. So then honor God and bring glory to him in your body. So our bodies are the temple of God. They are the sanctuary. So what are we doing with our bodies in this day and hour? You can see you can see that there's peace in the land. There's no lack in the land when we observe his commandments, when we reverence his sanctuary. And so what am I going to do with my body, with my eyes, with my mind, with my thinking, with my motives, with where I take myself and take this temple of God? What places do I take it into? And so we see in this day and hour, it's unbelievable what people are doing with their bodies, and marking them and piercing them and taking them into places and wanting to change them. I mean, the whole concept and the whole move of gender and all that to come against what God preordained and what God planned for us is in absolute coming up against God Almighty. And it brings trouble in the land. It brings lack in the land. And you don't see food from season to season. And I just kept thinking about that. I went about a week ago to do some of the grocery shopping on the weekend. And I went to one store, and the shelves were pretty much cleared out. So then I went to another one. I couldn't find chicken. I couldn't find beef. I couldn't find vegetables. I couldn't find basic things that we normally use. And I know that the rumors are that warehouses are empty, and there's no, there's going to be a lot of shortages on things. And so what do people do? They begin to hoard. They begin to say, well, I better stock up. And then there's even more lack because you want to go get something and then there's nothing on the shelves because people are starting to hoard. And that will not solve the problem and the trouble in the land. I mean, it's really clear that when things start happening and things start changing and you see trouble, you see, no food or gas prices going through the roof or inflation going crazy, you have one of two options. You can give to the fear and you can begin to purchase and buy and hoard and save up in response to it, or you can begin to do what the Bible starts talking to us about. So that's what I want to talk a little bit about this morning. It says in 2 Chronicles, God appeared to young King Solomon, and the Lord appeared to Solomon, it says in verse 12. This is chapter 7, verse 12. And the Lord appeared to Solomon by night and said to him, I have heard your prayer and have chosen this place for myself as a house of sacrifice. So just in that first sentence, God heard his prayer. That's a good thing, isn't it? To have God hear your prayer. And that's what we want in this time. We want God to hear our prayer. We don't want it to just fall down to the ground and it seems like God doesn't even hear our cry. He goes on and says in verse 13, if I shut up heaven and no rain falls. That's God saying that. God doing that. Or if I command locusts to devour the land. And if I send pestilence among my people. Pestilence, that means sickness and disease. If I do that. And God's explaining his ways to young King Solomon, who wants to rule right. He wants to rule properly over God's people. He's humble at this point in his life. He says, if my people who are called by my name shall humble themselves and pray and seek and crave and require of necessity my face and turn from their wicked ways, then will I hear from heaven, forgive their sin, and heal their land. And this is the greatest response we can have to the trouble we see in our land. We have got to be people that turn to God and begin to pray. Hoarding up and stocking up is not going to change the situation. And you can't hoard up enough when there's pestilence and lack in the land. You can inquire of God, and God might have you buy extra this or that, because even Joseph stored up for 7 years of famine. But it was because God said it. And because God's way was that. But in light of what's going on in our day and hour and the fear that people live in, fear of getting COVID, fear of being vaccinated, fear of people not being vaccinated, fear of running out of food, fear of, government overreach, fear of so many things, and it leading you and guiding you and controlling you and causing you to make your decisions based on that, you're going to lose your heart to God. And the devil will keep working you through these events happening all around us, and you'll sell your birthright for food, and you'll take that mark of the beast that we're warned about if we don't begin to do what God said. That when we see these things, and we see judgment in the land, and we see the lack, and we see things happening, God says that if my people begin to turn to God and begin to pray and cry out and humble themselves, things will begin to change. And so this is so important that we do this. We know that in the book of Genesis, Abraham was concerned about Lot and about Sodom and Gomorrah, what was going to happen. And because God said he was going to destroy the land because of the sin. And God Abraham begins to ask God, if there's this many people left of righteous, will you spare the land for the righteous? And he keeps going down the number. And he gets down to 2 people and says, if 2 righteous are left, will you spare the land? He says, I'll spare the land. And then they walk their separate ways. But it shows you that, if there is a remnant of people that lean on, trusting, and rely on God, and doing everything they can do to walk righteously before God, if those people will humble themselves and cry to God, God will turn the judgment of God away just for those people. And so it's very important that the people of God heed the warning and see and recognize, and don't go with the flow and the sway of this current age to yield to the fear and the torment and the reacting and doing exactly what the devil wants people to do, and reject God and embrace the way of Satan, which is a selfish way. And it's a way that rejects God and rejects the way of God. We don't want to do that. And then going to Hosea, we'll talk about things that we can see in the land. This particular verse has always been, for years and years and years, a verse that God had spoken to me of why things are the way they are. Because a lot of people grumble against the government, and they grumble against the leadership. And it says in Hosea chapter 4, verse 9, and it shall be like people, like priests. I will punish them for their ways and repay them for their doings. It shall be like people, like priests. So that's always meant to me, the leaders in the land reflect the hearts of the people. If the people are wicked, then they'll have wicked leaders and rulers over them. But if the people are humble and reverently fear God, God will give them leaders that reverently fear God. And it's that simple. So the things that we see, it's where people have rejected God. The people have rejected God. The people have been dishonest and corrupt. And therefore the leaders of the land are dishonest and corrupt. And then you see places, you see places where there isn't as much corruption because there's people in that area or that section or that land, and they're crying out. They're crying out to God. Give us true leaders. Put people over us that reverently fear you. Put people in positions of authority that reverently fear you, God, and will keep your commands. And there's so many examples of both scenarios throughout the world today. And then in 1 Timothy, this is a very familiar scripture. In chapter 2, in verse 1, it says, first of all, then, I admonish and I urge that petitions, prayers, intercessions, and thanksgiving be offered on behalf of all men. So we're to pray. God is admonishing us and urging us to pray. That's our lifestyle, to pray for people and all mankind, that they would come to know Jesus. Because he is the way. He is the Son of God. He's the Savior of the world. Jesus, open people's hearts, open people's eyes to see who you are, Jesus. In verse 2, it says, for kings, we're to pray for kings and all who are in positions of authority or high responsibility, that outwardly we may pass a quiet and undisturbed life, and inwardly a peaceful one, in all godliness and reverence and seriousness in every way. So it does something on the inside of you when it not only does it make a way for to have the right people in the land over in authority, but it also that works something in your heart. It works a godliness in you, a reverence in you, and a seriousness in all your ways. So those are very important and good things to have been working in us. For such praying is good, and it's right, and it is pleasing and acceptable to God, our Savior. I want to be pleasing to God. You want to be pleasing to God. So we need to do this. We want to be acceptable to God, who wishes all men to be saved and increasingly to perceive and recognize and discern and know precisely and correctly the divine truth. This makes a way for people to know truth. For there is only one God and only one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Jesus, who gave himself as a ransom for all people, a fact that was attested to at the right and proper time. This is our responsibility, to let people know Jesus is the Savior. He is the way. And in our lifestyle and in our ways, that's what we're doing. We're praying. We're crying out. We're believing God that things will change around us and in the leadership and in those in places of responsibility and authority. And then in Isaiah, it talks about the judgment of God on the land. In chapter 3, verse 1, it says, "Behold, the Lord of hosts is taking away from Jerusalem and from Judah the stay of the staff, every kind of prop, the whole stay of bread, and the whole stay of water." There was God was warning, I'm getting ready to take away the bread and the water. There's going to be lack. So he's talking about the judgment of God. And down in verse 4 it says, "I will make boys their princes, and with childishness they shall rule over them with outrage instead of justice." So you see that part of the judgment of God is people that come into places of responsibility and authority are childish. They make decisions that are outrageous. And are we not seeing that in this day and hour? He says, "And the people shall be oppressed, each one by another, and each one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly and with insolence against the old man." I mean, just that right there. Someone sent me something just very recently, and it was a young man that has been in and out of jail 20, 30, 40 times. And one of the things he does is when he goes out on the streets and walks in the streets, if he sees an elderly person, he just pushes him down, knocks him flat on the ground. I'm talking about little old 90-year-old ladies, old elderly men, just brutally does that. I mean, that's so evil and treacherous, and yet we see that happening in our land. People just walking up and punching a person, an old person, straight in the face and knocking them out cold. Why would somebody do that? It's when God's presence leaves and his judgment comes, you see these kind of things happening, and we're seeing them. And we've got to pray. We've got to recognize what's going on. There's trouble in the land because our hearts are not right. And we who reverently fear God have got to begin to pray like never before. And the people shall be oppressed, each one by another, each one by his neighbor. The child shall behave himself proudly with insolence against the old man, and the lowborn against the honorable person of rank. I'm no respect, no honoring, and people that are in positions of responsibility. I mean, this describes the condition of our country, our culture, and our land. And so our eyes need to open and see. And in Ecclesiastes it says, in chapter 10, this is really an example of when people are in authority and they don't reverently fear God, and they don't have a cry in their heart, God, show me, like Solomon did, how to rule over your people. Instead of repairing the breaches, that's correcting things and making things right, the officials make a feast for laughter, serve wine to cheer life, and depend on tax money to answer for all of it. And so, the whole thinking of solving problems by raising taxes, are we not seeing that more and more? Especially in the current administration. I mean, it's the largest debt our nation has ever had, and raising taxes more and more, like that's going to solve the problem. it's not going to solve the problem. As long as there's sin in our land and there's irreverence to God, and we're not, we're having our idols, we're not keeping the Sabbath, we're not, guarding the sanctuary, and how God describes what that truly means, then we're going to have trouble, and there's no tax money, there's no amount of money that's going to solve that problem. And that's why it's so serious in the day and hour that we live in, that we really recognize and see that we have a responsibility in the spirit to cry out to God like we've never prayed or cried to God before. And so we're going to turn our hearts to God. That's what's going to solve the problem. God coming and intervening and changing the situation, intervening. That's what's going to solve the problem. Not raising taxes, not hoarding up, not giving to fear, not doing, whatever we think, but seeking God with all our heart and praying for people, praying for our nation, praying for our neighbors, praying for even people that hate us and don't like us or attack us, but to pray and believe God that God will get to the heart of every man, and that God will be able to begin to reveal himself to people, and eyes will be open and they'll recognize and see what's really going on. We don't want to be moved and led and controlled by Satan, who is the God of this world. We want to be led and controlled by the Holy Spirit of God, God Almighty. And God sent Jesus, his son, to make the way for each one of us to live this life. And one more verse is in Proverbs 29, verse 2. It says, when the uncompromisingly righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. And that's so true. When people reverently fear God, and they want the way of God, and they're seeking God to rule and make their decisions in whatever place of responsibility, authority that is, then their decisions are going to be right. They're going to be for the good of the people. But it says, but when the wicked man rules, the people groan and sigh. Do you feel that groan in your heart these days? That's the Spirit of God wanting to pray through you with all your heart unto God. And I mean, there's things going on just in our public schools going around the parental authority and causing children to question their gender. I mean, this is insane. And this is so contrary to the Word of God and the creator of the universe, the creator of you and me. God made you and me. He made our children, and he knows what he's doing. And the devil is always there to pervert it, always. And he's always going to do and say the opposite of what God says. And we need to pray for the teachers. We need to pray for the principals. We need to pray for those in place of responsibility in our schools and in our school boards and decision makers. And I know that voting is such an important part in the days ahead. And voting according to seeking God with all your heart. And Jesus, who would you have me to vote for? But we've got to pray. We've got to see that groan and that sigh. That's so important that, oh, God, make a way. Oh, God, get to the heart of people. Get the heart of man. Get to the heart of those that are in place of responsibility and authority. Pray with all your heart. Weep before God. Fall on your faces and cry out to Jesus and say, Jesus, I don't even know how to pray. Some of these things are so grievous. And so we'll finish with that this morning. Let's leave there in that place, and we're gonna go on with our day today. God, make a way. Have mercy on us, Jesus. Have mercy on our nation. Have mercy on our land. Remove the trouble that's in their land. Change the hearts of man. So we appreciate all you who have been so faithful to listen in. If this is new to you, we record all our radio programs that can be found on our website, www.wordoffaithfellowship.org, and all our previous programs are there to listen to. And we just are holding on and praying to every one of you. You have a great day.